This is Chelsea Schaefer, and this is Season 4 of The Score. You all have listened to this podcast 750,000 times, and we are here in Season 4 to bring you even more of what you love. Hey everyone, it's Chelsea here. Welcome to The Score. Today is Thanksgiving if you're listening to this on Thursday, the day the episode comes out. But regardless, I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. I have had my snow villages and my wreaths up and my Santa teddy bears up for a couple weeks now because, like so many people in the industry, today's guest included, I will be in Las Vegas for 2 weeks during the holiday season, and I love to just squeeze every ounce of merriment out of the holidays that I can before I'm gone in Las Vegas for 2 weeks away from my family. So we visited today with Coy Upchurch of Fastback Ropes. They are our longtime industry partners, and Coy and his crew at Fastback have just done so much to support the grassroots of the industry, which is one of my favorite things about working with Fastback. They've got some new ropes out that we talk about. If you are into the nitty-gritty of the rope business, this is an episode for you because I learned a lot about the rope making process, where the ropes that we all have today come from, how the rope pricing is affected, how ropes are tested. Coy and I go over all of that, plus his background in how he came into the industry and how he handles business on a day-to-day and how the Fastback Rope Shop operates. So before we get too far into the episode, I want to make sure you know to check out fastbackropes.com. You can order ropes there. You can shop for your breakaway ropes, your head ropes, your heel ropes, ranch ropes, a little bit of everything. And you can check them out at all their retailers nationwide. They're at all the major retailers, Tractor Supply, NRS, Teskey's, you name it. You can find a Fastback Ropes there. And we will tell you more about their new rope, The Cure, at the commercial break. Good morning, Coy. How are you today?
I'm well. Good morning. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we are recording this episode 2 days before Thanksgiving, which is actually 3 days before D-Day of you leaving for Las Vegas. You are the president of Fastback Ropes. What's your title at Fastback?
I'm the general manager.
General manager. Yeah. Okay.
Not the president, the general manager.
Gotcha. So give me a clue. What does this week look like for y'all in the rope business? Are all the ropes already made for Vegas? And tell me how that process is.
They're already made and on the trailer. We put in 2 different orders. Mm-hmm. A backstock order and a floor order. So when we get there, we just take our stuff out, start setting up, and everything else we'll leave on the trailer for backstock. And it's been really busy because the finals, the World Series finals going on, all the ropings that this time of year, guys are needing a lot of rope. So we're busy with our endorsee orders, a lot of stores selling a lot of ropes, so mm-hmm. we're still busy with our regular customers, but we just work our order in. We don't take a lot out there. We really don't sell a lot out there. It's more for just brand recognition. If you're not there, everybody thinks something's wrong, so mm-hmm. we make it a point to work the Cowboy Christmas.
Sure. So most people like say World Series of Team Rope and Finale competitors, they go there with their boxer ropes already in their trailer that they had shipped to their house, and they broke in the practice pen or in Arizona, right? Is that usually how it works?
Exactly. Yeah. All,
Mm-hmm.
all those, usually all those guys, they've already gotten their ropes and they've used them. And yeah, they know which ones they're going to use probably. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Can you tell us what's the favorite for the crowd out there? Favorite rope?
Yeah. Our best sellers are the Cobalt, Excalibur, the Cure, and then the Venom does real well.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So the Cure is the newest rope from Fastback. That's correct?
It is.
Tell me
Yes,
about
ma'am.
it. Yeah, how did that rope come about?
Well, it has a polyester core.
Mm-hmm.
First team rope to ever have or only rope that I know of that has a polyester core, but that just gives it more tip weight, a little less body, and it's a pretty small rope, but for the size that it is, it has a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's selling well.
Mm-hmm. When did you release it? What was the launch date of that one?
It came out on July the 1st.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So it's picking up steam for sure.
It is.
Absolutely. Well, Coy, I want to backtrack. I mean, it was natural to start talking about Vegas because that's on the front of everybody's minds right now. Just so close to that starting. But I want to tell your story a little bit. How did you grow up in the roping industry? So, did you come from a roping family, and how did you find your way into the sport?
My dad roped calves a little bit in high school, but he mainly liked football, basketball, baseball. But my brother and I roped his kids, and then grew up not far from Love Rope Shop. And one of the guys that worked there, Bill Shrum, he talked to me about ropes and rope care and the different types, which back then there weren't that many, but yeah, he used to talk to me about ropes, and I worked for Professional's Choice for 10 years, and then this March will be the 7th year I've been at Fastback, so March will be 17 years I've done this. Just worked with some great guys in the industry, and just older guys, I kind of listen to, and they sure taught me a lot.
Yeah, what part of the business did you start in? Were you making ropes? Tell me how you kind of got into it?
Yeah, the first year and a half, I rode a rope machine, and then went to the tie room and would sew burners, back knots, coil them, and then started tying the eyes. So did all that, and then started doing some trade shows and working with sales reps, and which I'd had a sales background before, but just kind of pretty good fit. Worked with some really good salesmen, just down to earth people, and just let me know it was more about relationships than it was, some putting on some big sales pitch. Just the relationships in the industry is what's most important.
I feel like that's something y'all at Fastback do just so well. We've talked about this a lot in your marketing. That you keep relationships with every level of the game, with the World Series ropers, with the circuit cowboys, with the ladies. It seems like that's been a big part of what's made Fastback over the years, is just the many touch points in the roping industry.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm hearing, from stores and to the reps, to anybody that calls in, is what a good customer service department we have. If there's a problem, they really try and address it quick. And the ladies that answer the phone and take the orders, they are pretty knowledgeable about the ropes and what's going on and any problems that may pop up. And the guys that make the ropes, they've been here for years, been doing it, many of them longer than I have. So it's really a good team.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have a new rope, how does a new rope come about? Like, where did the cure start? I guess was it a need that you saw, or are you just messing around in the rope shop? How do these new ropes come onto the market?
Well, it really just messing around in a rope shop with different strings. Just we we're always monkeying around with different strings and different combinations of stuff and trying new ideas. And if a lot of our test ropes are terrible, it does. You don't always get a good rope, but some of them are pretty decent. And yeah, it's just by playing around. It's fun. It's my favorite, probably my favorite. One of my favorite parts of this working here is getting to just tinker around with new types of ropes.
Yeah, and guys like Clay Tryon live right down the tin top from y'all. And, Lipan to Granbury isn't very far. How often do you run out there and test ropes with Clay?
I'll go out, probably a couple times a year and rope with him, but he they test a lot of ropes for us. Matter of fact, I asked him to try 2 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So they took 2 yesterday, and I think they might have used them last night, but he'll get them used and then let us know what he thinks and bring them back, and we'll swing them here at the shop, and then we'll test them, and then we'll get some to guys up, Colorado to South Texas, Arizona, so we can get them tested in different climates, different humidity affects a rope a lot. So we'll get them tested drier areas to Centerville, Florida, and get them tested there too. So, yeah.
What is do you test ropes with ropers at every level? I mean, I feel like Clay Tryon might have one opinion about a rope where a number 4 in Colorado might have a different opinion about a rope, and how do you balance those opinions?
Well, we do let everyone test them, and you just have to kind of get the rope back and get as much information as you can. Find out how many they roped with it. Were they taking really big jerks, or was the steer kind of following the header around, or just exactly how the rope was tested, the temperatures, and we just all kind of get our heads together and visit about it. And if it's a slam dunk like the Cobalt, the Cure, you pretty much know as soon as you start testing them how it's going to go if it's a really good rope. So we'll go ahead and hammer on it and get a lot of them really used well, see how they do, how long they last, and then go ahead and come out with it. But sometimes you can send ropes to Arizona and they feel great, but they may not feel good in, like, Mississippi is a tough area, really high humidity. So Florida, of course. So just get as much information as you can and go from there.
Yeah, when you get a rope, so when you have test, like, I'm so interested in this process. When you get a rope back from a tester, what are you looking at? Are you looking at how the burner's held up? Like, what all elements of the rope do you look at?
Sure, we keep an eye on how the burners are doing, but we mainly want to know how much that, like in a core rope, the eye will move to the left a little bit. We want to know how much. Did it move back? Did it move way to the inside? Want to know how the coils reacted if it took some really big jerks, how the coils lasted. Sometimes you can have a really good rope, feels great right out of the twisties, but if the coils get square after 15, 20 runs, that's probably not a rope we really want to come out with. It's not going to last long. I mean, ropes are expensive to make. Everything in there is petroleum-based, except the rawhide. It's treated with petroleum products, but the cost of raw goods and the cost of shipping, we have to pass that cost on to customers. a rope costing close to $50 now, it needs to last a little while. So just the longevity of it, and the feel, that's super important too. We want a good feeling rope. But we want it to last a while, last a good amount.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We are going to take a break from this episode to tell you specifically about Fastback Ropes, the Cure. It's an all-nylon 4-strand with a purple poly core construction. It's small and light, and the Cure is a vibrant chartreuse for high visibility. It performs well in all weather conditions. Like Coy talks about in this episode, it has been tested nationwide. For every Cure sold, $1 will be donated to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. That is something special in the rope business. Remember, this rope has core construction, a small diameter, and great tip weight. All Cures are made to order, and it will be shipped approximately 2 to 3 weeks from the time of order. You can also check out the Cure at NRS, at the Fastback booth in Cowboy Christmas. If you are in Las Vegas, go swing you one. Remember, check it out at fastbackropes.com. I think that the whole rope making process is so fascinating, and you mentioned that it's all petroleum based. Can you give us a 40,000 foot view of the rope making process, like where the raw materials start out and how they become a rope? Is this too hard of a question, Coy? I might be the worst as far as asking you questions, but I'm so interested.
Well, it is pretty cool. The raw materials, when they start out, they look just like little BBs. They're heated up and blown through a screen. Mm-hmm. And when they go through that string, it'll make a long fiber. I say a long fiber, 8 to 12 inches probably. Mm-hmm. And those are woven into the string. I call them string. It's twine. And then we'll make different sizes mm-hmm. of twines. And then we'll get those combinations and make the rope with that. But, polyester, nylon, and we've tested some other materials that hadn't worked out too well, but we still do it. Mm-hmm. But good old nylon is just really, we do use a lot of polyester, but nylon is so much of the, it's 82 to 100% of the rope, so we use a real high-quality nylon, mm-hmm. and we don't have string machines here in Texas. All of our stuff is done on the East Coast in textile mills. Mm. So that's where it originates, East Coast.
So textile mills. So are the same mills that are making your strings, they're making like Under Armour clothes? Like, are these like apparel shops or not apparel shops, but apparel mills? Or are they just making fabrics for the most part?
Where we get our mm-hmm. string from, a lot of it goes into carpet. A lot of it goes into water hoses, garden hoses, the military, automotive, seat belts, and cars. The military is probably the biggest user of nylon. Wow. But, mm-hmm. We just, we're a small percentage of their market, really. It's mainly automotive industry, and military is who uses the most nylon.
Gotcha. So what is the biggest factor that impacts the price of a rope these days? What are the big costs that go into what's passed on to the consumer?
Here lately, the cost of shipping. Mm-hmm. You hear about the containers and truckers and fuel prices. So that's driven the price up lately. But, it's petroleum based. So mm-hmm. that has that's a major factor.
Sure, absolutely. What about, how's demand been? We hear about Yellowstone impacting the Western industry so dramatically, and all sorts of things, all sorts of factors that go into the growth and the expansion of the industry right now. Are y'all seeing that too, an increase in demand?
We have had an increase in demand. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is the shows that are on TV, the Yellowstones, the Walker Texas Rangers. They rope a lot on that show. There's, a lot of Westerns coming out. Mm-hmm. This Yellowstone craze has got a lot of big motion pictures will be coming out, or have come out, and will be coming out with the Western lifestyle. But so that helps. But so much of it is, we think, you can go to a jackpot and rope for so much money that it has got guys that haven't roped in 20 plus years. They're now interested in getting a little horse and starting to practice and maybe get their number and go to a few ropings because they get to see their old buddies. That's a lot of it. The camaraderie among the team ropers, Western people, just such good people. Plus, you get to rope for a lot of money, so that has helped.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I could also say, social media is a huge part, I think, of team roping because, back years ago, you got a T. Woolman video or a Jake and Clay video, and you'd watch it 1,000 times straight. Well, now, I mean, you can still see those guys, but you can see new lessons on your phone. Yeah. There's so much more information available on riding your horse or delivering your loop or ropes or like what you guys do is just that has to have grown the industry.
Yeah.
Just information availability.
Yeah, I've been in the industry for almost 12 years, and the amount of, unfortunately, I've been almost in the same job, Coy, for 12 years, one way or another, but I think...
Well, you're good at it.
Hey, thanks. But just the amount of stuff I did 12 years ago versus the amount of stuff I do now. 12 years ago, we were just kicking off our Facebook pages, trying to figure out how to post team roping results and stuff. And, now my goodness, the video and the podcast like we're on now, there's so many different touch points. So I think, like, when I think about it, if you're Mike Pylan at Cactus Ropes and you want to listen to the radio reporting of, which bless Mike's heart, he calls me all the time to try to get me to figure out how he can listen to a Western Sports Roundup or whatever Steve Kenyon's radio show so he could get the play-by-play from certain events on his phone. Great. Whether you're in your 70s and that's your jam, you want to just listen to stuff happening, or whether you're watching the Cowboy Channel, or whether you like to have your articles read to you from the magazine, which is another thing we do on this podcast for team ropers who don't like to read for themselves. Bless you all. We do audio editions of articles. There's just so many different ways, whether you like to watch stupid TikTok videos, which I am guilty of. And man, it's crazy what the media has done for the sport.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but before all of that, how did Fastback get started back in the early years? How old is Fastback Ropes right now? Way before, predated social media, for sure.
It is. They opened up in 95. Mm-hmm. And some guys that had been in the industry had gotten in contact with some just great people here in Granbury that were interested in investing in a rope shop. And so that's where it started. The shop has been in Thorpe Springs, 2 different locations. They were in a smaller facility, and now we moved over to where we are now. I think in 04 maybe moved over, but always been just right outside Granbury, Texas. Thorpe Spring is where we are. And just give a shout out to Pro Equine, and because without them, boy, there's no way we'd be where we are. So
tell me how is Fastback incorporated with Pro Equine Group, and how does that all come together and work together?
You'd ask if I was the president, and so I'm certainly not, but I'm the general manager, and I report to Dustin Noblet. Mm-hmm. And he's the right-hand man to Dennis Carroll. Mm-hmm. So Dennis Carroll owns the Pro Equine Group, and they own Fastback, Heliomatic, Cactus Saddlery, cactus ropes, cactus gear. So Mr. Carroll owns that group, and Dustin Noblet, he's the CEO. So I report to him. He is running Fastback. I'm just here day to day. But
I gotcha. I never really thought of it that way. I love Dustin, but I think of you as running Fastback and Dustin just keeping you all in line. You guys are an interesting group.
Yeah, very interesting. Actually, not. He knows when we're testing rope. We don't build test ropes all the time. Mm-hmm. Just every now and then. So, but he knows when we're testing ropes. We send ropes to his house for him to use, so he can see them. So now he knows everything going on here. Follows our cells super close, and I bounce stuff off of him on decisions with endorsees, or just he's in the loop on everything. But I'm here every day. So.
I got you. Dustin has a lot to do as far as little ducks to keep in a row, because my goodness, you have one temperament, Barry has a whole different temperament, and there's a lot of personalities that Mr. Dustin has to manage. It's awesome.
He does, and Mr. Carroll, he owns Pro Equine Group, which I think that's the coolest name in the Western industry, Pro Equine Group. But anyway, he also owns Hatco, and that's Resistol, Stetson, and nose lines. Mm-hmm. And Dustin is over that too. So his plate is very full.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And he still finds time to rope. I don't know how he does it either, but I love that he gets to rope and gets to enjoy all the fruits of his labor, because he certainly puts a lot into this industry.
He certainly does, and he ropes really well. He doesn't get to rope a lot, I don't think. Doesn't practice very much at all. But yeah. I think, year before last, he won $50,000, I think, is what he won. He and Barry at Guthrie. And then I've seen videos of him a couple years ago roping calves at Alumni Rodeo there in California. And, man, he ropes calves well. So very much cowboy.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's great to work for.
Yeah, he's great to work for on our end too. He's been a really great partner over the years. Absolutely. Gotcha. Well, I drove past the rope shop on the way from on the way to a video shoot the other day, and was surprised at how many cars were in the parking lot. How many people work there on a day-to-day basis?
We've got 29 that are here now.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And so, what are the rope making hours? How many hours a day are ropes being produced?
Well, the guys here are on piecework, and we're pretty lenient on their hours. We've got a couple that'll get here at 4:30 in the morning and start their jobs, and then we've got some that'll, they need to take their kids to school, so they'll get here about 8:30, and then they'll just work their full day, and so some are leaving, middle of the afternoon, and then some will be here until 6 or so. We do have some guys that will come in on the weekends, and it's probably there's somebody here from 4:30 to 6:30, 7 o'clock usually every day.
Gotcha. Very good, sir. Now, how often in all of this, you said you get to rope with Clay Tryon a few times a year to test ropes. Do you get to rope more than a few times a year, Coy, or how often have you been able to jackpot yourself?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have a little mare, and I can rope either end on her. And she's nothing great, but just she's sound and really gentle. That's the main thing. So, yeah, she's fun to rope on.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to rope at the finale?
I'm not going to rope at the finale. I'm going to help out in a couple booths, so I'll be doing that.
Gotcha. Where can people find Fastback ropes in Las Vegas?
They have them at National Roper Supply. They're on the mezzanine at South Point. And then we'll have a booth at Cowboy Christmas. Fastback will have a booth at Cowboy Christmas.
How many folks are coming out for Fastback, Coy? Do you have a whole crew?
We do. We've got a whole crew. Not maybe all at one time, but there will be a total of 8 of us in and out. A couple will be at National Roper Supply booth, and then some of us will be at Cowboy Christmas.
Well, very good, sir. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning, Coy. I appreciate you always. So thankful for your partnership and thankful for all the years of business we've been doing. It's been fun.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it, and we appreciate everything you do for us and the sport of team roping.
Thanks, Coy. We will I'll see you in a week.
Sounds good. Safe travels.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of The Score, and thank you for our longtime partners at Fastback Ropes for sponsoring this episode, for letting y'all listen to Coy, who is one of the leaders in the industry, truly one of the good guys in the sport of team roping. He's wonderful to work with. If you are in Las Vegas, go and introduce yourself to Coy Upchurch at the Fastback Ropes booth. Go say hello, tell him we sent you. And if you're not in Las Vegas, remember you can find them online at fastbackropes.com.